J.A. Bergloff is the imaginative author behind the Chronicles of Atlen, the Butcher of the Eternal Forest, a riveting tale of a kingdom on the brink of war, where a determined member of the King's Ire embarks on a perilous mission to unravel the mysteries shrouding the once lively Eternal Forest. And J.A. Bergloff is with us here. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you, sir?
I'm great, thank you. So what was it that inspired you to write this story?
Actually, I'm a big fan. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Stephen King's Dark Tower series. I was just such a big fan of that. And then a couple years later, I stumbled into Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight archive, and I was just blown away. And I thought to myself, man, I'd like to write something like that. And I just pulled the trigger, and here I am a year later, and published and novel done.
Yes. In the book, the Kingdom of Atlen is facing an unprecedented threat. So, can you tell us a bit about the mysterious enemy and the challenges that the characters face?
Sure. So basically, what we've got going on is we've got probably the most powerful nation that has ever lived on said world, and they've never been challenged before. And out of nowhere, they're being challenged, and it's taking everything that they have to hold off this enemy, and they're just unsure where this had come from. So, in short, the king had sent all of his men and all of his power basically to the north, and he's doing his best to hold this enemy off, but it's not looking good.
Yeah. And the King's Ire as well plays a significant role in defending Atlan. So what is the concept of the King's Ire, and how does it influence events in the story?
So, I mean, you'll find out right away in the beginning of the story, a major cataclysm happened, and it changed civilization. And basically, out of the ashes, sprung a new kingdom, and the King's Ire came along with it. And so, in short, what you have is you have these tattooed warriors who have spent most of their lives training to receive the blessing of the Ire. So, basically, you have these tattooed warriors who are imbued with the power over the elements, fire, water, wind, all of these things. But basically for them to get there, they need to be mentally and physically fit. And then they go to a set of isles where they face 7 goddesses. And once they complete the isles, they earn blessings from the goddesses, which in turn make their bodies strong enough to withstand, this godly essence. So it's a really grueling process. And, at the end of it, you have these demigods, so to speak. And, but yeah, that's basically the king's might, and they hold back everything, so the everyman can just go about his life, and not worry.
And having this big kingdom in the story, where did you look to get inspiration on how to portray the kingdom and what it would be like?
So basically, I took Plato's account of Atlantis, there's some historical documents and, conspiracy talk about long ago, there was a big war between Lemuria and Atlantis. So I took that concept and I said, that'd be fun to mess around with that. You'll never find out, since I'm telling you, but yes, indeed, this is all based loosely off Atlantis and the war between Lemuria.
And in the book as well, the forest is a significant location in the story. So how does it evolve throughout the narrative?
So, I mean, basically, you'll find out through the story that, yes, indeed, Atlen is a kingdom of many nations, so to speak. So all the races work together, but they're basically sovereign territories. So, the Eternal Forest itself it's a whole nother world in itself. And, they all get along, but at the end of the day, they come together and they all fight for the king. But yes, indeed, all these locations throughout Atlen are basically different countries within themselves.
Yes.
And the Eternal Forest, no exception. I mean, there's a lot of mystery going on there, and the powers that are in control of the forest, they're going to play a critical role within the next few books that'll be coming out.
Oh, and as well as kind of multiple locations and countries within the kingdom, there are multiple perspectives that are told throughout the book. So how do you think this technique of storytelling enhances the reader's experience?
I wasn't really sure. It was just when I started writing, I mean, it kind of came out organically. I got done with a chapter and I said, you know what, I'm going to jump over to her, and then I got really into this next character. And by the time I was done, I realized I had all these different points of view, so I just kind of arranged them in a certain way, and then when I got done with it, and after I read the book about 100 times, I said, you know what, I think I'm going to stick with that, but in short, I see Brandon Sanderson does a lot of that with his characters, and I'm a really big fan of the multiple points of view, and so I gave it a shot.
And how is it sort of structured when it's the different points of view? Is it people's perspectives of stuff going on at the same time, like, in a maybe sort of pulp fiction way where it crosses over, or is it separate stories from people's perspectives?
Yes to both. So as you read the story, you'll find out that, yeah, some of the perspectives, as you're following them around, they actually do meet up within the story. And some of them have yet to meet because they're so far away as where they're located right now within the kingdom. But yes, that's in the intent. I mean, everybody's stories, they're going to cross paths, they're all going to have something to do together. But yes, I mean, they will all intermingle, I guess is the way to say it.
Yes. The protagonist in the book, of course, embarks on this daunting mission and is joined by a legendary Phoenix bearer. So what do you think makes their partnership so crucial?
So you'll find out that the Phoenix bearer and our main character, they're very much the same kind of guy. Our main character took a lot of his instruction and kind of learned of a lot of who he is from this guy, and then they separated for a few years. And this book picks back up where, they've finally seen each other after a few years, but both play a very significant role on each other. And, as the books progress, you're going to see some really interesting things happen between their relationship. And, don't want to give too much away, but it's going to be intense.
Yeah. What do you hope readers will remember the most about this book?
To be honest with you, it was the antagonist. So we have a creature in there that's, all intents and purposes, he is the butcher of the forest. So we spend a lot of time following him around and what's going on inside his head. And by the end, I'm hoping by the end of the story that you actually feel kind of bad for the monster. There's a whole plot behind it. And so that's kind of what I'm hoping for, just kind of giving the bad guy his 5 moments of, yeah, that kind of hurts.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like it when we do that because sometimes there are too many bad people that are just bad because they're bad and there's no depth there, but you've put in reasons, and I guess it makes you question your initial thoughts towards the characters when you first met them.
Sure. I mean, like I said, I tell everybody, evil is just a point of view, so what do you do when you're on the other side of the fence, right? I mean, so, I kind of try to take it there, just kind of see everybody's points of view. I mean, even the villains. So, just kind of know where everybody's coming from. I mean, whether it works or not, I don't know, but I mean, it's what I did. So
yeah. And without giving away any spoilers, of course, can you give us a little glimpse into what we can expect from future installments in the Chronicles of Atlen series?
Toby, I'm so glad you asked. So, I mean, this week, and I've just about finished writing the next entry in the series, and it's going to be just a little bit shorter than this monster of a book we have now. But so this next one, I mean, it's going to be an interchangeable book. So you could either start the series off reading the current one that's out, or you can pick this next one up, as this one's actually going to take place with our antagonist the past 5 years before he arrived to where this book begins. So a prequel to this current book that's coming out. So it'll really inform you a lot of the King's Ire. So we spend a lot of time following them around. And this is the trials they face on the Isles when they face the 7 divinities. So that's what this book will take place, when they're really becoming who they are today.
That sounds fascinating. And do you have any plans for books outside of this series at all?
Yes, I do actually. So, I mean, like I said, I'm looking to create a universe to where when I write a separate story, you may think it has nothing to do with this universe. But it will. I'm going to tie them all together. And this whole series itself, it's going to span eons. So, just a quick little peek, we're going to go way back into the series and you're going to find out that it's going to be more of a sci-fi Western, and then we're going to fast forward through the series and then you're going to find out it's more like modern times that you and I live in. So it's going to be a really vast series and it's going to take place over, let's say, a few different universes. And that's my hope. So,
well, where are we able to find this book, The Chronicles of Atlen, the Butcher of the Eternal Forest?
So, yeah, I mean, I've got everything on Amazon right now. I mean, I'm not very tech savvy, so I did really good to beat my head in getting into Amazon. But I hope to get onto more platforms soon. But for now, I'm just on Amazon.
Excellent. Well, many thanks for talking to us today. It's been great having you here.
All right. Same, Toby. I can't say enough for having me on. I appreciate it so much.